Today I just wanted to compare two of my chronological study Bibles. One of my goals this year is to work through a chronological study Bible, and I was kind of having trouble deciding which one I wanted to use. So I thought I may not be the only one in that boat, so I thought I would just go through these two that I have and compare them, and then maybe I will help myself and maybe someone else decide which one they're going to go through this year. So the first one I've had for a long time, probably, I want to say good like 7, 8 years plus, who knows, but it's been here for a while. So this is the Chronological Life Application Study Bible, and this is in the NLT translation. I believe it also comes in the King James Version. It is from Tyndale, and it is a hardcover. It has this dust jacket on the front. If you take that off, it is exactly the same underneath. So this one I like because it has the notes from the Life Application Study Bible, which is a favorite of mine, as you probably have guessed or known from watching my videos before. But the difference from the the difference from the Life Application Study Bible is that this Bible is in chronological order, and there are some different visuals and things in here as well, I believe, from what I've seen so far. I'm going to start this video off by apologizing, because my table is like off balance right now, my kitchen table, and I'm not sure why, so I need to look at fixing that later. But for this video, there may be some bumping around, so I apologize. I'm going to try to keep my arms still. I'm not sure how I broke my kitchen table, but who knows? I wouldn't put it past myself that I did something here. Anyway, so we're going to start this out with a table of contents. And then we have the table of contents, I'm going to try to pronounce this canonical, which basically means the normal order of the Bible and how that's laid out with page numbers, so you can look up specific chapters and verses if you need to do so. So that goes here through a couple pages. We have an introduction to the Chronological Life Application Study Bible. Goes over the features. So we're going to have chronological header system. We're going to have outlines, notes, maps, illustrated verses, section introductions, timelines, parallel passage indicators, archaeological notes, charts and diagrams, personality profiles, textual notes and section headings, a harmony of the Gospels, and some new full-color illustrations. In the back, we're going to have a Christian Workers Resource, the Bible book by book, a master index, and a dictionary and concordance. Okay, so as we get into that, we have a chronological survey of the Bible to start, which breaks it down into different time periods. This is very interesting. You definitely want to start with this. If you're reading through this Bible, I'm so sorry about my table. It's going to bug me the whole time. Anyway, definitely would read through this before you start, just to get an idea of the order and the time periods and how everything fits together. There is also a complete biblical timeline. I love the full color. Definitely very engaging. Okay, and then we're going to have an introduction to the New Living Translation, which I love the translation. It's very easy to read. I have read through it twice now. Always enjoy it. We have the translation team, and then we're going to get into the Old Testament. So before we even get into Genesis, we have an article on beginnings. We have timeline, talks about people and culture. We have a map, themes, and then your typical information like the author, the audience, the purpose, when it was written, etc. So we have this beautiful picture here with a key verse, Genesis 1:4. And then we're going to get into the Bible itself. Now this one has a ton of information, which I love. It is also, the pages are very busy and very full. So if that's something you don't like, this may not be the one for you. It's jam-packed full of information. So you kind of just have to break it down, decide what you're looking for here. The scripture is up at the top. And then we're going to have the Life Application Study Notes on the bottom. We're also going to have some little articles throughout, like there's one on the origin of the universe. We have a little article about animals down here. We have a timeline across the top of each page and what part of the timeline you're currently reading in. So, of course, in Genesis, we're at beginnings. We have a character profile of Adam. Another section starting here, the beginning of humanity, breaks down the days of creation. Again, we have all those life application study notes at the bottom. The character profiles and the life application study notes do appear to be the same as in the Life Application Study Bible. There are a few extra features in here, a few extra little visuals, and we have the timeline at the top, and of course it is in chronological order. The font size, I should have looked before I started. I always do that. But I believe it's a 9. I want to say it's a 9. I will put it in the description below if I'm wrong. But I believe it's a 9. The study notes are definitely smaller. They're probably about a 7. I don't find it hard to read. There is a lot on every page, though. So if you're going to do a read through of this one, you're going to need some time. Some friends that I've seen on Facebook are reading through this Bible this year in 90 days, which you could definitely do, but just be aware it's going to take you longer to read because of all the notes and the resources and the charts, which isn't a bad thing, but it is going to slow you down a little bit. So you're going to need more to devote more time to it if you're reading it in a quicker time period. I also see some friends who are reading it in a year, which may be a little more manageable, especially if you have a pretty busy schedule. Or if you're like me and you're going through like 10 other things, 10 other studies and reading plans at the same time because I can't narrow it down. Yeah, that's me. One thing I don't like about this is that it's a glued binding. And it's just, Bibles don't last as long typically with a glued binding. The pages may start to separate and fall out. One thing I will say in favor of this Bible is mine is not too bad at this point, and I have had it several years. Now, I haven't been like reading it like every day. I haven't been carrying it with me or anything like that. So there's that as well. But it has been on my shelf. I have pulled it out several times through the years, gone through it, and it's still okay. It's still together. There is a little bit of slight separation starting. I noticed, excuse me, sorry for my paging around and my earthquakes of shaking the camera here. But I did see a tiny little bit of separation at the beginning. Kind of like, you can't even really see it. It's just me being me. But it's in there in the spine. Okay. Okay, so I'm kind of doing a full review of this one only because I haven't reviewed it. I kind of forgot that I had it and pulled it out a couple weeks ago and was like, oh yeah, I do have this one on my shelf. And that's my dog. It's with a 5-year-old and a dog. I have a very noisy house. And that's my oven going off because I'm going to cook after this. So yes, that's my crazy household, everybody. There are some other resources in the back. I'm not going to go through everything, but there's a book by book, a Christian workers resource. There's like little notes and themes about each book in the back. There's a dictionary and concordance. And some maps. So like I said, I did more of a review on that one because I really haven't done a full review. I can come back and do a full review later if you'd like me to, even though I kind of just did right there for the most part. But anyway, that is the Chronological Life Application Study Bible. Now this one I'm not going to go through as much because I just did do a review on this one, and I can link that below as well. This is the Chronological Study Bible in NIV. It also comes in New King James Version, and this one is from Thomas Nelson. So I do like the way, I like the construction of this one better. And now it's not a hardcover. The Chronological Life Application also comes in a leather soft cover as well, but it's still glued. So it's okay. This one's sewn, which I like better. This one has a ribbon marker, which is double-sided satin, so it's really nice. just like the construction of this one better. So that's why I'm kind of going back and forth. I really like the life application notes, and that's something that, Tyndale does a really good job with their life application study Bible, the notes and the resources and the charts and the full color, and it's awesome. I really like it, and I really love the NLT. I just wish they would make it with a sewn binding and maybe a little bit of a nicer cover, but that's not a deal breaker, not the end of the world. So anyway, I'm just going to kind of compare this one to it since I did just review it. So again, we're going to have it broken up into time panels here, just like we did, periods of time, just like we did in the other one. We're going to have contributors and an introduction and all the beginning content that's kind of similar, talking about the chronological order and how they rearranged the Bible that we normally see. Okay, and we're going to have, they're broken down into these different time periods. This is before the patriarchs, so it's like creation, the Stone Age, etc. And then we get into Genesis here. We have a little transition notes, introduction to the book of Genesis. This one is, for the scripture, is a 9-point font, so it is a little bit of a larger font. I also like that it's not as busy as the Chronological Life Application Study Bible. I think that one has more notes in it and has more information in it. So if you're looking for to dive into more and have just tons of stuff on every page, you'd want to go with that one. This one still has a lot, though. We still have little articles like this is the Creator God is not sun or moon. We have a little table down here. We have little plants and animals note here. So I'm not saying this isn't full of information. It definitely is. It's just not quite as busy as the Chronological Life Application Study Bible. And if you don't have, again, I apologize about the table, but again, if you don't have very good eyesight, if you're struggling to see the smaller fonts, this also might be the one you want to go with, because it is, I think the other one was a 9.2, but I don't know, maybe it's just the comfort print in this one. I just think this one's a little more readable. But I will put a note in the description of what the font size is for both of them. In fact, let me look for the NIV right here. This is 9.5. Okay, so the NIV is 9.5. I'm fairly certain the NLT, the first one I did, was 9, with the notes being a 7, but I will post that below. So you can just see this is really nice. I like the layout on this one. Has the gold page edges. My dog's gonna bark again. I'm very sorry. Family life here going on. You're gonna probably hear my husband walk through the door in a moment as well. Probably should have waited to do this video till later, but that's all right. We're real here. Okay, so basically the difference is this one's a slightly larger font, the sewn binding versus the glued binding, and there's just, the pages are a little less busy in the NIV version here. So that's my comparison. Now, which one am I going to read this year? I'm not quite certain yet. I wanted to start with the Chronological Life Application Study Bible originally because that's what a few friends of mine are reading, a group that I'm in on Facebook, and I just really like the NLT and I like those life application notes. However, when I got this to review from Thomas Nelson, this NIV Chronological Study Bible, I like the layout and I like how it's just the construction of it. I like that better. I've also never read through the NIV, and I have read through the NLT. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm kind of on the fence. I started reading a little bit in both of them. However, I have still undecided on which one I'm going to go through. So if you have a suggestion for me, if you think you know which one I should read this year, the NIV Chronological Study Bible or the NLT Chronological Life Application Study Bible, please comment and let me know which one you think I should read. And if you could also comment and tell me if you're going through one of these Bibles, which one are you going to read through this year? Or if you're going through a different one and you want to tell me about it, please share. Would love to hear. So please comment below any of your ideas or thoughts on this, and I will see you soon.